guys, welcome to our very first episode of Faithfully Ever After. I'm the host, Alex De Bono, and this is my beautiful wife.
Maya De Bono.
Who are we, love?
We are faithfully ever after. And why are we creating a podcast?
I think we're on our own journey, and I think in our journey we have we found a road that works for us, and we would love to be able to share it with the world. And if we can do anything to help put someone or a couple in a better place, then I think that's really our goal, is it not?
Yeah, I also think we've seen a lot of people around us just really struggling in relationships. And I know you've had a lot of people reaching out to you and just opening up to you about things that they've been walking through. And we wondered if, maybe this is something that God is calling us to be able to help other people on their journeys.
Absolutely.
And we're not perfect at it, but if we, like you said, if we could help somebody else on their journey, then that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I think it was very odd when people started to come to me and start to ask questions. I was trying to understand if there was a mistake somewhere, and I think it is a God thing, because it's my journey in faith is newer as well, and I'm finding as I experience new godly faith-filled things in my life, I can see doors that are opening. I think this is one of them.
And how? Explain to the audience exactly how these doors open for you, how were they introduced to you, and why you feel like now that you've stepped through it, life is different.
So this is going to go all the way back, I think, to the beginning, because I never led a faithful life. I never led a God-driven purpose life. And this would go back to our story of when I met my wife.
Yeah, because at the time you actually did not ever want to get married. You were very happy on your own.
I was.
You were like, that's it. No, I'm good on my own. Me and my dog forever.
Yeah, and
then I walked in.
And you walked in. And I think that's where all of our journey, my journey, started across the board with everything, with my life with you, our kids, family. A lot of things changed, and faith was the biggest component, I think, that came in to my life through us meeting each other.
So maybe let's start there. Why don't we share our journey?
Okay. But I think you would have to start to share our journey, because your journey started the weekend before. Yeah, you were.
Yeah. So I was actually in a really toxic relationship, and I just kept going back to it. And I knew it was wrong and I didn't want to be in it, but something just kept pulling me back in. And I actually, I wasn't living the most Christian life, if I'm being honest, at the time. And I remember just kind of crying out to God and being like, God, why? The only thing that, opposite to you, the only thing that I ever wanted was a perfect little family. So looking at my situation, I was just, I knew I needed to get out of that. And I remember crying out to God and being like, why God, please, like, help me. And it was actually one of the very first times, it doesn't actually happen to me too often, where I've heard God's voice in my life. And I heard God say to me, how can I give you what's meant for you if you're not willing to let go of what isn't? So that really hit me, especially because, it was just one of the first times I really heard God speaking to me. And I was like, okay, all right, God, and I knew I don't know why I even felt in my heart that it needed to be by a certain date and a certain time. And we had a Christian retreat weekend coming up called Overflow. And I knew it had to be by that weekend. So interestingly enough, when I had actually called it off with this guy that I was with, we were okay at the time. It wasn't in a toxic period. I was just like, no, I'm going to be obedient to what I felt God say to me and see what he does. I'm going to see if he opens up doors, kind of thing. And so I went to this weekend retreat and just resurrendered my life to God. And I was like, you know what? I really, really believed it. Like, I was like, God, you're enough. And, I was in and out of a lot of relationships because of daddy issues and, just looking for love in all the wrong places. And I was like, I really was like, God, I surrender it all. Like, you're enough. And that's it. Even swore to celibacy till marriage, which, that was big for me too. But I actually met you the next day, right after that weekend. So the very next day we met, And there I was thinking, I'm okay. I don't need anybody. It's just going to be me and God. I'm good. And then you walked by that. I was at the dealership getting some things done on my car. And you walked by with this beautiful smile on your face that was just so captivating. And I felt like I knew you, or I thought maybe I knew you. So it felt weird not smiling back at you. And I'm like, I think we know each other. I think I've seen him before. And so I smiled back and you walked by a few times. And maybe I'll let you take it from there.
Well, my story didn't start like that. I was just kind of found her, and it was another day at the shop, and there was this hot chick there, and that's kind of there wasn't a spiritual component to my story, but yeah, she was standing there, and I smiled and struck a conversation that said, "Hey, let's go grab a coffee," and we started to really kind of find out that we had a lot of stuff in common, and.
And how many years is this now?
So this is 13 years ago that all of this started.
13 years ago.
13 years ago.
That's bringing things into perspective here. 13 years ago, but you're still talking as if it was just yesterday.
Yeah, it feels like it was just yesterday. And I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, this has been a journey. It's been an amazing journey. And we've learned to navigate through a lot of things through it.
Yeah.
And we're very intentional with our marriage and our relationship. And
So what does that mean exactly? Intentional.
I put my wife first. Anything that I do, decisions that I make, I always put her first. How is this going to affect my wife? And I'm okay with making a difficult decision to say that, if I do this, the negative impact that it's going to have isn't going to be worth it.
And I can attest to that. I feel like everything you do in every way, you put me first. Like, I think it's one thing for you to say it, but I recognize it. Like, in every area of our life, you always consider me, even when, in business, when you're making decisions or financially anything, it's always, I hear you say all the time, I need to talk to my wife, or, just every area of our life. That's how you live it. You get invited out, especially with work things, all the time. And your first thought is always your family at home, what's going on, what situation will I be in if I'm going out, you won't even put yourself in a situation where there could potentially be something that could happen.
Yeah, I will never put myself in a situation where I can fail, where I will fail. I will never put myself into a situation where I know that temptation would get the better of me or could get the better of me.
And most other couples think we're crazy for that. Like, we've had people kind of, bash us for it. Be like, oh, you guys don't do your own things. Like, we do from time to time, right?
But I'm doing things with my friend. I'm doing things with my best friend. And I'm okay with that.
Do you think that people that come to you with this way of speaking, this way of thinking, do you think it's because possibly they're unhappy in their own life and they're wondering why you're happy and they're not?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we've been asked that too, right? So it's that catch 22, because some of those friends have asked us, like, how are you guys this good? We've been out for dinners and stuff, and other couples are, and it happens often. It's not like a one-off, but other couples will then go home and start fighting.
Yeah, I've had people comment and say, people tell us that they had their friends that were invited to the same party went home and killed each other after having been with us.
Saying, see, you can still be like that 13 years later. How come they're like that and we're not?
So is this podcast now kind of opening the eyes to people, maybe doubtful thinkers, that they think you're just maybe doing a facade or an act?
Yeah, it could really come across as a show. I mean, I know a lot of people that do put on a show when they're out there, but for us, it's not. It's an intentional thing, and most of our life is built around that.
And I think it's genuinely wanting to show people that this is still possible, even after the years. Or, maybe somebody's gone through a breakup or something and they're like refusing to still have faith in it or believe in it. And it's like, no, it's real and it can happen. You can have that.
We love each other just as much, if not more, than from the first day we met till today. And it's reflected in our kids too. And our little one is disgusted by us on a regular basis. Dad, what do you mean by that? It's because we're very flirty and we're still in love with each other, and he's thinks it's gross.
but they are going to be raised knowing that love is a real thing,
Yeah.
and it's a very
Absolutely.
possible thing, and you're showing them exactly a respect that now social media tends to skew this little. So how do you guys navigate through the elements now, such as social media, such as a lot of the TV shows and movies that are out there now, where they're making it almost like it's normal? How are you guys stepping outside of the stigma that everyone should be doing things that are not right?
Maybe that's why this is so important. Maybe that is part of why we want to do this, is to show that, that doesn't have to be the norm, that there are other ways, right?
It's actually not the norm. It's because social media paints this picture of what it wants you to believe the norm is, and it's really not. I think that we can bring some light to a lot of those dark questions where people sit back and think, is this all there is to it? And it's not. There's a lot more.
And divorce rate is higher than it's ever been, which I think, would speak to that. There's a reason that it's higher than it's ever been. There is this outside example and this outside force, such as social media and the things we're seeing, in movies and stuff, that I really feel is playing a part.
Well, yeah, it does play a big part, because there's been, leaps and bounds. We've come more in the last 10, 15, 20 years than we have since the beginning of time, I think. But not everything that it's opened has been good. And the internet's opened Pandora's box for, for lack of better words. And, it's brought so many evils to the hands, the fingertips of our children. And we don't, we're very careful how we navigate through all of that. And we try to be on top of our kids and try to instill different values. I know with me, I feel like, and I don't know if this is appropriate, so cut it out if it's not, but, I feel like we've lost our masculinity in all of this. And, I often sit and have conversations with the little one, and I explain to him what being a man really is. And he says to me, Dad, what does it mean to be a man? But there's so many things. When I grew up, I didn't grow up in the greatest environments. My dad was a heroin addict, and I went through a lot of stuff. And I don't want my little one to grow up in all of that. I am who I am because of the things that I went through, but I've learned a lot of things. I'm respectful. When I refer to being a man, I refer to, being a man of integrity, of honesty, and, be a man of your word, and have respect for women, and all of these things that I think the world is lacking today. So
Yeah.
Do you think, and this is going to actually go right to you, do you think that a lot of what he just said resonates to females as well?
Yeah, I was actually just going to say that. I actually remember, I don't know if you remember this, but one of our boys early on, just started having feelings for girls, and they were starting to get cute. There was one girl he really liked, and she just wanted to be friends with benefits. And he was actually really hurt. So, I think a lot of the times we pin things on men, but with where we're headed today, and that was at 14, like that was very young. So again, even for girls and what they're seeing and what they're being exposed to and what they're being shown is a way, or could be the right way, or don't want to get hurt, no feelings, like just keep it physical, that's become a norm today.
yeah, and it's not a norm. It shouldn't be a norm. It shouldn't. There's nothing normal about that.
Well, that's not how God designed
Yeah.
marriages to be, and there's a reason that they were designed to be, a man and a woman, and committed to one another, and the vows and all of that, right?
How do you think that us as a society veered away from that thinking that God intended us to, when we decide to get married, we're committed to that one person. So why do you think society now kind of took a back road to that? What happened? Why are people acting that way?
I think some of it is self-seeking, what feels good in the moment. I think also, life is challenging. There's hurts and things that we walk through. You get hurt, and I think people are trying to protect themselves and just do what feels good. And in all honesty, like that's what is cool now. Like that's how you fit in now. So I think that plays a part.
Yeah, it's also easy, right? It's we live in a disposable world where if it's broken, you throw it away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And growing up, my grandparents migrated from Italy, and we didn't have that mentality. If it's broken, throw it away. If it's broken, you're going to fix it.
Yeah.
And you're going to make the best attempt to fixing it before you throw it away.
Yeah.
But today we throw everything away, including our relationships.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful statement. I think there's a lot of truth to what you just said,
Yeah.
where I think people are maybe looking at it and saying, they're going to look at you and say, no, 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 you're wrong. I did it for this, this, and this, and this. But do you think that actually people put a valiant effort into fixing what could potentially be fixed?
I think when it comes to relationships, the majority of the issues that you're going through, if both people want to work through them, they can be fixed 100%. The marriage was not designed to be a temporary fix, or it's a permanent, forever situation. I will be here to the end with my wife, and wherever, whenever that is.
There's moments where love is a choice too.
Of course it
it's
is.
not always a feel good. It's
Yeah.
not always what feels best, just follow my emotions. It's a no, I made this choice. I'm going to choose to love you even through the difficult moments.
100%.
Yeah.
So remind the listeners, what is this podcast called again?
It's faithfully ever after.
So faithfully ever after, why don't we, in this first episode, why don't we explain, break that title down, and what do you feel it means to each of you?
So when I met Alex, I actually called him my happily ever after. I have it tattooed on my arm here. So I think our relationship has had to center around faith. Like God has had to be in it for us to get to where we are. I don't think we could do it without him. And so it's, yes, loving each other, but also making sure to keep God in it and keep God first, and to remember that those vows were before God.
A cord of three is not easily broken.
Yes.
Ecclesiastes.
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 Yeah.
A cord of three is not easily broken. Just meaning that when you bring God into your relationship, the three strands now become stronger together.
We actually had our wedding bands designed, custom made around that, the three chords.
The three chords.
And just that reminder that we want God in it.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it on your own a lot of the time, right? Like, you need God. Yeah.
That's amazing. And before we actually sign off on our first episode, believe it or not, you guys are doing excellent. There is one thing I want to talk to you about. A lot of people, they complain about going to church. A lot of people say, oh man, it's so this and so that. I don't really want to go. I have other things to do. How do we now instill this, not as a chore, but just as a way of, connecting back with God? How do we bring people back to church?
Well, I think because I'm newer in faith, I can tell you that when we first started going to church, it was a chore. Mm-hmm. I tried to do everything in my power to find every excuse possible not to be there. Or to get there as late as possible, so I would only have to endure a little bit of it.
I love the honesty.
It's true. It's true. And now it's the complete opposite. Now I actually look forward to going to church. I wait for Sundays to come, and I'm becoming more involved in our church and trying to be a part of, the connect groups and whatnot.
I think a key component is the community too, though, right?
Yeah,
like
100%.
You can't get that on your own. And to be around, like-minded people, or people who are on their own journey, but on their own journey, putting God in it, right? Like you can relate in it, kind of thing. I think that plays a big part. Is just.
But how do you get them to open the door to get there? You see, we know from experience the journey, but how do you get people to join that journey with you? How do you get them to accept God in their life?
Well, we talk about it at our church. It's a huge thing, but we say we're not just a church for our church. We're a church for our city. We're bringing our church to our community. And that's what matters. Is I think it was actually this Sunday, I'm not going to mention names, but it was actually said, we need people in our community who are, whatever it is, dentists, construction workers. You don't just go to church to find that. We need everyday people to go out and be that.
You're right.
In our community. And I think that's what we're doing here too.
And I think that is actually it. We're going to bring the Lord to you. You don't necessarily have to come to us, but we'll bring it to you, and we'll bring it to you through our workplace, through our conversations and our friends and our outings, and we'll bring it to you and hope that penetrates. Thank you for being with us here at Faithfully Ever After. We are rooted in faith, growing in love. That's who we are. And having a podcast is actually very difficult. So, first episode, we know the challenges that we could face and we're probably going to face through this podcast, but we'd love for you guys to be a part of our journey. We'd love for you to come and follow us on all of our social platforms. You can find us at Faithfully Ever After, and that'll be our Instagram handle and the rest of our social media as well. I want to thank my beautiful wife for being here with me. Thank you, my love.
And thank you.
It's
Been a pleasure. It's been nice.
Rooted in love.
Growing in faith.
And that's Faithfully Ever After.
Until next time.
Until next
Until
time.
next time.
We'll see you again.
Yay! Good.